Hello, greetings, my friends. This is Gilles. I come back and return to continue in the light of source, to continue to anchor that light of source, this energy from the heart. It is really what we seek to unfold, to connect, to communicate, to ground this divine love and light that is the essence of who we truly are. And for that, we need to let our higher self lead the way, to follow our feeling state. It's very important to tune into the feeling state. For it is very easy to influence other minds, other people with their mind, for it is really what's happening. It's like we have this constant exchange and the mind grows and evolves through the process. But the feeling state is highly personal. No one can provide an information to someone and the person will feel a certain way and respond to the information. So it's about controlling our frequency of the feeling state. And when we don't feel good, if you feel drained, to let it pass, of course. Because sometimes we need to empty out all kinds of old things. And so the cup becomes empty for a while and then it gets filled. So, because we fulfill our contract to God, and we to find love through the struggle, to see the light within the darkness. No matter how much darkness there was, we maintain this frequency of light, and we are able to remember our divinity. To even in the darkest moment now, it's like let the love of God, this warmth, the sun, the warmth of the sun, to warm you up after going through those very cold water that we had to go through, and let the love of God, the warmth of the sun warm you up. No, you are enough. I know you know enough. It's like don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. You are enough to be included within the divine love and light of God. It's already done. It will never been separated in truth. But when we came down here, we were born with amnesia. It's part of the process, and we do not need to remember all those things we want to forget. It's the power to forget is very powerful. We want to remember the connection to Source and God, and to trust them. To ask the angels to deal with all kinds of things, whatever worries we have, is to learn to work with the invisible forces of the universe so that they can be dealt with grace and ease. And so seek to remember your divinity rather than those things you want to forget. It's very we're moving towards the summer solstice. It's about hope. It's the sun is the south, for the east would be the spring, and the west will be the autumn, and the winter would be the north. But so it's really much a time of harvest, where there is the great light comes in. We're in the northern hemisphere, of course. But there is a great book that talks about. For our release, it's a book I was really obsessed with when I was young. It's like the first spiritual book that came into my life. I learned it by heart. It was very. I was just obsessed with this knowledge I found in this book. It's called the I Ching. The I Ching. It talks about the relationship between yin and yang. We need to learn to utilize this power of creative will and the power of receptivity. Those both forces, yin and yang. And he talks about the natural relationship of the season and the natural relationship in the behavior and situation within the life of man. It's a very old book. There is a judgment and an image. I recommend the version of Richard Willem, for there are all kinds of wonderful versions as well. But it's really powerful. It talks about the way of the superior man. The last additions, significant additions, were made by Confucius, Lao Tzu, and Mencius, but 3,000 years ago. But it's much older than that. It's the King Wen and the Duke of Chu, who said all the judgment and the images of this book, and it's quite wonderful. It's an oracle book, and so I'm going to pull a few cards. I had a very strange dreams. I'm talking about cards, and so it's a mysterious dream. In fact, I'm going to pull the cards first. So the past is work, and we know what we need to do. We've done the inner work. We're going to move into the outer works. The present is luck, is miracle, is blessings, and the future is going to be success. To accept, to allow the miracle to flow into your lives every day, small ones, big ones, and then the big one is going to come. This point of freedom. What we're working on now is temperance, not to be excessive within anything, to stay in balance, to stay temperate, to stay in the light side. And the future will be communication. We're going to be able to bring our message to different people, to greater audience and so forth. For in life we have cards we don't deal the cards. We have cards that we're dealt with, and we have to play with the cards that we have. But we don't always see all the cards that we've been dealt with. Sometimes we believe we only have those cards and we didn't see those other cards. Or sometimes people they bluff. They make other people believe they have certain cards when they don't have those cards. It's part of the process. But what Spirit showed me, it was very mysterious, is they showed me that within my deck I have those two jokers, a big one and a small one. And that eventually those were the only cards I'm going to play, the small joker and then the big one and then the small one and then the big one. And then, as I play them, they're still in my deck. They're like kind of like magic cards. So I'm not really sure, but it's like a symbolic dream. It was quite interesting. I wanted to talk about when we feel like we have all those negative energies, negative emotions. It is important not to respond in kind. If you have anger or jealousy or fear or regret, it's not to send it back in the same level because. Otherwise, it's like playing tennis, and it's like a ball that is sent back between you and astral beings that are playing. It's never the humans. Humans are just triggers, but it's never the humans. We feel like it takes the form of a human that sends us this energy, and so we return the energy to the human, when necessarily they are astral beings. For the other, I'm not interested in professional sport. I find it extremely boring. I like to play sports, but once a year I watch Roland Garros, a tennis tournament, and in the tennis you have to keep your eyes on the balls. There's quite wisdom in this, and then you have to stay in the present. When you play a match of tennis, if you for one moment you're not present, you just lose the point. And so. But it's like by not responding in kind, negative energy against negative energy, you allow your guardian angels, or if your guardian angel needs assistance, you will call on the archangel of Archangel Michael, and they will deal with those astral beings. They will play with them. You will be. You won't be personally implicated when you receive an energy. Is to release it, negative energy, rather than just having to fight against it. It's very important to become aware of that. Let the light handle it. For your gift and talents are quite unique. They're unique in all creation. The earth needs it, and the company of heaven needs it. God needs you to be in your full empowerment. So continue to cultivate that and to awaken to the dream. Life is a dream, but you want to awaken to the dream that God has for you, and to the highest possible version of yourself. Everything is created to remind us of this unity principle: the nature, the plants, the birds, the sun, the stars. Everything is like can be seen in duality, but it can also be a reminder of unity. The bridges are everywhere, and so. For spiritual books are really wonderful, and religious books. They're very, very powerful, but they're just guides. It's more important. There's a lot of people that are holding on to the text. If it's not in the text, it is not the truth, because the text is the truth. No, there's the living presence of God is the truth. Those who are, they're going to come into trouble. Those who are too much holding on to old information and are not able to integrate and expand even the knowledge of those guides, of those books. For it is more important to connect to the divinity within, and any truth has to be verified. And it's like whatever truth first, faith is very important. You have faith move mountain. You move a lot faster when you trust, you believe. The most important belief is the existence of God, the eternal life. It's the most important of all realization. But for me, the existence of God is not a belief. It is a fact. It is the only truth. It's like millions of times I've proven myself. God has proven his existence to me, and I've proven that it's like, I'm like Descartes. I can doubt everything, but that I will never doubt. I can never doubt. But you don't even want to doubt yourself in the process. It is important. For the more you realize your divinity, the more you realize your life is sacred. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to God. Everything is sacred, but it's only up to the level of self-realization that it becomes, it takes on a new dimension of meaning and value for the universe. So continue to cultivate and grow with that connection. Very soon we're going to experience the end of this corona circus, this corona crisis. For it was very useful to put in question all of the living lifestyles and all kinds of things. So we'll be very. It really helped us to move forward. For ascension is really happening. There's so much that is going on. Those who are already in the awakened are this month will receive a lot more energy, and those who are not awakened will awaken a lot of them. Even if the media is controlled by the darks, continue to broadcast fear and ignorance and propaganda. It's like this will not last very long. For the gates the gates of freedom and truth that we seek are right behind our fears. It's like it's like they're like we're always like, well, we don't want to go there, and so we're going in circle. But it's like by facing our fear. Having courage doesn't mean not to have fear. It's just to go through the process regardless of the, and also to be original, to not try to copy anyone, just be yourself, to find your own originality, even if you're not always accepted for who you truly are. Just you will find more gratification, because if we move out of the originality of who we are, we'll get very lack of satisfaction. It is by discovering that unique talent, those unique things that we all have, unique and complementary talents and abilities, but there's no higher or lower, just different cycle of processes. I'm going to pull a few cards. I thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. I thank you for your donations. If you want a private session, you can send me an email. The highest wisdom is young, is this creative power to continue to work with this divine masculine, to be in action. When we get the inspiration, we're going to move into action. What we need to understand is my card of the day is nothing is better than your home. It's like to create a beautiful environment of creative, of peace, of comfort, to imagine, to visualize. If you have it already, just make it to always improve this quality, to feel good within your environment and your physical body, and or to visualize it, to move towards it. What we need to do is the time of the nap is about meditation. It's about resting. It's like those times of meditation, resting and letting go is really the tools to which to connect to source and to connect to the invisible kingdoms. And the outcome will be the observer, the compassionate observer, to be neutral within situation, to stay balanced within things. For God in source, God, it's never an end. It's always a new beginning. It's always fresh. It's always new. It's always dynamic. It's vital. And so this like never sit at the end of the process as an ending. It's always a new beginning after every ending. For it is good. We all kept our promise in relationship to God when we came down here, to hold the light regardless of the darkness, and to find love within our struggle, and to continue to cultivate that, to know that is which is what is important. All was created, all is love, all is one. It's really this connection that we need to integrate. And personally, I'm preparing a big party for my guides and angels and for all the friends I may have that will celebrate with, because Ascension is like a reunification with invisible friends and family that we were felt this separation, because but as a consciousness ascend, they will meet us there, as well as they're preparing a big party to welcome us into the higher planes. And so it's like there'll be great celebrations. For memories, once they're balanced and integrated, it's a great treasure chest. It's like there was Dante in this beautiful saying of Dante in the beginning of his book. I think it was called the Vita Nuevo. He says, "I'm going to look for in the drawers of my mind these stories to share it with you," with another poet, the story of La Vita Nuevo. And so it is like we have this treasure chest. Once the memory is balanced, not only do we have this connection through the soul to everybody we met, but everybody we've seen as well through the soul. All is one and connected. Even those who are the dearly departed are connected eternally through the soul and the heart, and so we can communicate with them once we let go of the illusions of separation. But also all the places we visited, not so much, maybe in past life memory may come back, but in this life, all those places hold frequency, and we can recall and make the energies. We can travel through this utilizing those power of memory. It's a very much like a treasure chest. And our body is like a cell in the universe, and the universe is like a cell in the glorious body of God. and we have trillions of cells within our physical body. If any one of our cells if your little finger hurts, the whole body hurts. It's like because of the nerve system, and the same thing with God. God will continue to, will never end this process until we achieve total illumination of the whole of life. He will be eternally doing that because He feels all the things we feel as well. But we are more than a physical body, just as God is more than the universe. So it's like to understand that. But we need to bring our light into our cells, to have trillions of cells, and we need to bring them all into to bring this love and light within ourselves, to feel it, make our body, to elevate the frequency of our physical body. Well, I hope this message was interesting for you. I'm going to sing a song that went through my mind, and it's a song that went through my mind this morning. It's an old song of a band named America. It goes, A Horse with No Name. It's like this. On the first part of the journey, I was looking at whole of life. There were plants and birds and rocks and things. There was sand and hills and rings. The first thing I met was a fly with a buzz and the sky with no clouds. The heat was hot and the ground was dry and the air was full of sound. I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain. La 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 la. La 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 la. After 2 days in the desert sun, my skin began to turn red. After 3 days in the desert fun, I was looking at the riverbed. The story he told of a river that flowed made me think too sad it was dead. I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain. La 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 la. La 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 la. After 9 days I let the horse go free, 'cause the desert had turned to sea. There were plants and birds and rocks and things. There was sand and hills and ring. The ocean is a desert with a life underground and a perfect disguise all above. Under the cities lie a heart made of ground, but the human will give no love. I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain. La 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 la. La 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 la. The solitude can be very cleansing for those like silence of the desert, and it also brings up the idea that there is so much life underground, so much life under the water. There are countless civilizations, the extraterrestrial civilizations, both positive and negative, that have bases. The negative will be expurged, but there are the great treasures, great resources in the bottom of the oceans. We're going to need to clean up the oceans, and that still remain a realm that needs to be discovered, the bottom depths of the oceans. Then there was a movie called The Abyss, was talking about the extraterrestrial civilization that live under the oceans, and there's a human that gets there, and it's like, what is that? Those things that are like atomic bombs and all kinds of things. Why do you do that? Questioning why do we do all those things to our beautiful planet and to each other. But there is a great deal of awakening, so just stay focused on the bright side of life. And the card of the day is the moon. We need to integrate the moon. We need to integrate these emotions, the divine feminine revealed to us, to integrate the beauty, the love, And in the future world, the moon will be an extension of the Earth. We'll learn terraforming. We'll have a civilization that live on the moon. It will be nice because the light gravity, once it will be discharged from all the negative extraterrestrial that can still live there, will be evacuated. For there's still some, but less and less. For it is the archangel Eniel that brings this divine energy of the moon, the opportunity to refine your project. Let yourself be guided by your intuition. Confront your fear to be stronger. Your fears. For within the fears, behind the fears, there are a gateway to freedom and love and joy. So do not be afraid of fear. When you see a fear, just say, I love you, fear. Thank you for informing me of that old energy. Thank you. I release you. I free you. I send freedom to you. Send it back to God. Send it back to the planet. Send it back to source. Well, thank you very much. I wish you a wonderful day. I hope you find this message interesting, and I'll talk to you later. Namaste.